Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV today. With one stupid move, the WWE shows us exactly how useless, how worthless, and how unimportant the 24/7 championship belt truly is, and we are going to talk about it right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's SmackDown Live review on this Tuesday, May the 28th, 2019. Let's do it.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
Alright, gang, thank you so much for joining me. Let's play a little game right now. If you were a professional wrestler, we're going to put you in the scenario that ended tonight's episode of SmackDown Live. Let's say you were a big star in your promotion. We won't even make it to WWE just to make it easier for you guys to put yourself into this position. You're working at any wrestling organization on the planet. You're training to be a professional wrestler. You're perfecting your craft to be a professional wrestler. What is your goal? Your goal is to be a champion. Now, different championships mean many different things, but your goal is to be a champion, is it not? So, if you're a pro wrestler and you find yourself in a position to pin a champion and take that championship and make it your own, why the hell would you stand back and let somebody else cover that person and take that championship while you stood back and watched and laughed? Look at this guy winning a championship while I'm standing here doing nothing. Is that what you want to do in a championship situation? Of course not. That's not what you would want to do. That's what happened at the end of tonight's SmackDown Live. And why? Because what championship are we talking about here? We're talking about this newly created, absolutely ridiculous joke of a championship called the 24/7 title. Roman Reigns wants nothing to do with this championship. The fact that he speared Elias at the end of tonight's SmackDown Live and then just stood back there and handed R-Truth on a silver platter. Here you go, buddy. I knocked out this fucking guy for you. I want you to go and pin him so that I don't have to take that ridiculous avocado toast looking championship and put it around my waist. It's a piece of garbage. It's trash. It don't mean anything. The big guys don't want it. Nobody probably really fucking wants it. And it's a farce. It's a catastrophe is what it is. Do you understand that WWE set this segment up to try to put the 24/7 title in a better light? We've seen R-Truth lose the 24/7 championship tonight and then have it be regained without him having to do a single fucking thing to regain it. And the guy that did all the work wants nothing to do with it. If the 24/7 title meant a fucking thing, Roman Reigns should have covered Elias and became the new 24/7 champion. But the title is a fucking Band-Aid. It's a big green Band-Aid to put around your waist. That's as much as it equates to. It means as much as a fucking Band-Aid. At least with a Band-Aid, it serves a purpose. It's covering your cuts and your scrapes and your nicks and whatever you got that you got to keep infections out of. You got to keep it clean. So at least the Band-Aid is doing you some good. The 24/7 title is doing nothing. Oh, well, it's fun. We're trying to have fun. Fuck your fun. We've been trying to have fun in the WWE for the last fucking 4 years. The last thing we needed is a championship that can be considered a joke. A championship that people in the main event don't even want. People in the mid-card just watching as this fucking clown car of competitors chase R-Truth throughout the building. Nobody gives a shit. Why are we supposed to give a shit? Why is it, man? Oh, well, it's fun. They're trying to have fun. They're trying to inject some life into it. No, that is not how you do it. You know how you do that on a wrestling show? You show us fucking wrestling. Right? That's why we're tuning in every Monday and fucking Tuesday to, we know better by now, but we're addicted to this shit, so we sit down on our couches and we turn on this trash and we continue to get our brains pounded in with stuff that just doesn't make sense. Illogical nonsense like having the finish of tonight's SmackDown Live. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I mean, on the one point, it's like, well, of course, because the title's a piece of trash. Why would Roman want anything to do with that? But on the other hand, it's like, why would the WWE showcase this belt in this way? If you want it to mean something, you want people to get behind it, all you have to do is get people invested, and this is not the way to do it. Why? Because R-Truth did such a good job with it? Because he's all over social media with this championship, and he's probably going to be the best 24/7 champion there ever would be. But that doesn't mean it has to continue. That doesn't mean it should even be a thing. All it is doing is adding more nonsense to a show that is full of nonsense. And it still continues to make more than just one person look like a fucking fool. Look what they did to Elias tonight for the 24/7 championship. We're out there for Shane McMahon night. Shane fucking McMahon appreciation. The only thing I appreciate about Stain is a good word for him since he fucking sweats so much like a giant sweat machine. Stain McStuntman. The only thing I appreciate about him is if he doesn't leave a fucking wet spot in the ring. And if he'll fucking pull back on a punch. The guy don't know how to contain himself. Fucking balls to the wall McMahon. This guy has appreciation night. And during this appreciation night, the 24/7 nonsense comes trampling out to the ring like the circus that it is. And R-Truth pissed off Shane McMahon. R-Truth pins Drake Maverick, defends his championship. Shane McMahon is mad because he busted up the festivities, and then Elias ends up winning the 24/7 championship. And then Shane McMahon just up and changes the rule. He's like, oh, I know it's a 24/7 championship, but for today, it's going to be the 23/7 fucking championship. For the next hour till the end of the show, the rules don't apply and nobody can bother you. What? We're just changing rules of fucking championships now? You just made these fucking rules, and now you got Shane McMahon just changing things like this. Oh, well, he's just doing it to be evil. He's just doing it to be mean. Let me tell you something. This McMahonized version of Shane McMahon is the last thing any of us fucking need. How bad is Stephanie when she's trying to out-evil her dad? She's just cringe TV, and while she is good in her character when she stays in her lane, Shane McMahon, I cannot say the same about. Do you know what I liked about Shane McMahon? I liked when he came back, and he was the good McMahon. He showed us the other side of the page, that not every McMahon has to be a fucking crazy whack job retard. And I liked that. He was coming at things with logic. He was trying to make things make sense. He was trying to put on a good wrestling show. He was being the good guy. There is no good guy on our side anymore. And we all felt that. We all felt like Shane McMahon coming in, it almost felt like he was one of us, man. He's in our age group. He appreciates the Attitude Era. He probably wants to take the reins at some point in some fashion. But what the fuck happened? He just became Vince McMahon 2.0. Actually, let's demote it. He's like 4.0. He's like the fourth fucking update after the original, and it's nothing like it used to be. He will never be Vince McMahon. His delivery is stale and boring, and he is nothing more than a poison to the current WWE programming. Shane McMahon showing up on this show at 9 o'clock tonight brought whatever goodness you may have been feeling about SmackDown Live to a complete halt. Because up until that point, it actually wasn't too bad. We had some stupid shit going on with the 24/7 belt. We had a couple of ridiculous things in between. But for the most part, SmackDown Live opened up tonight with a 30-minute fight almost 30 minutes, maybe 20 minutes or so if you want to take away all the promo time, and Kevin Owens telling everybody, I'm not going to do the Kevin Owens show, but I'm going to stand here and do a long promo as if we were doing the Kevin Owens show. We're not going to complain about that, because subsequently Kofi Kingston came out and we were treated to the match that we were told was going to happen. Kofi Kingston versus Kevin Owens in a rematch from Money in the Bank. There are no championship titles on the line in this matchup, so I started to think, as the WWE normally does, that they were going to give a win to Kevin Owens in this situation. He lost at Money in the Bank. They love to be 50-50. They'll give it back to Kevin Owens so that when Kofi Kingston comes back from Saudi Arabia, they can go back down this road with Kevin Owens. But instead, Kevin Owens gets jobbed out tonight to the WWE Champion way too soon. I thought the reveal of Kevin Owens to be the antagonist in the storyline was a little bit too soon. They could have had a whole lot more fun with the Big O as part of the New Day and had it go on a little bit longer so that when he did eventually make the turn, maybe it felt even bigger and even more like a betrayal because they had been through so much more. And maybe have held this program off until leading into SummerSlam. And it would have felt really big. And they had a good match at Money in the Bank. They had a great match tonight as well. And when I see the competition that these two guys are putting out there, it makes me think that they're not being showcased in the proper manner, which is exactly what happens when you are a talent on the WWE. It doesn't matter how good you are in the ring, they're going to put you in this little box and present you this way to a crowd that's ready to see you just be yourself. And just perform the way you know how to perform. And when they get in the ring and they do that, it was great. But now the story has somewhat come to an end. What reason would they have to put Kevin Owens right back against Kofi Kingston when they come back from the Super Showdown? We all know that the only reason Dolph Ziggler's getting this shot at the Super Showdown is because Kevin Owens doesn't want to go to Saudi Arabia. He doesn't want to accompany the WWE to Jeddah. So I'm starting to think that this is just punishment booking. Kevin Owens prematurely just thrown out there, and now his program with the champ has ended. As great as it started, when you watch the promo package on the history between Kevin Owens and the New Day, it kind of gets you going, and it's like, wow, you know what? This was pretty good. They were building something here, and it could have got really big. But they fizzled it out so quickly so that they could end it pretty much at Money in the Bank. And then because Kevin Owens doesn't want to go, well, you know what? You don't want to go. Now we're not going to continue with your plan as we originally have it thought about. Because I was going to say scripted, but they don't fucking script anything until they're about 30 seconds to airtime. I was just very disappointed at the fact that they would just very cleanly defeat Kevin Owens on his back, looking up at the lights, clean victory by the champ, no furthering of the story between these two, and that is the problem with the WWE. They want to keep just giving us matches and not really developing a proper story. This had the makings of a story to be told, and now it's come to an end. And right now we're speculating on all of that, but we did all this with Kevin Owens to what? To punish him and give him a loss on TV instead of having Dolph Ziggler here where he belongs with Kofi Kingston and not on fucking Monday Night Raw dragging the show down. Not that I want to hear him crying, well, it should have been me. I got blonde hair and I was a big supporter of Kofi and now I'm not. I don't want to fucking hear that on either show. But if there was a place to put it, I think SmackDown Live would be the place, don't you? Especially since that's where Kofi Kingston and the WWE Championship reside. I was going to say reign, but I don't want to even say that word because you know why. Kevin Owens and Kofi Kingston, like I said, they went a good 20 plus minutes. This was a very good back and forth matchup, but the winner was Kofi Kingston by the end of this thing. Then we see Shane McMahon and Elias and Drew McIntyre talking backstage, and they say tonight's I don't even want to say it. It's just so awful to even think about the premise of a Stain McStuntman appreciation night. Awful. Just the whole concept, awful. After what we had to sit through last night and the whole little cuz, the little dog, Lance Reigns, And now we got to go right back to it. Less than 24 hours later, we're going right back to the least important story and the one match on Super Showdown that I guarantee you nobody wants to see. Because even if you're a fan of Roman Reigns, you don't want to see him fighting a fucking non-wrestler in Shane McMahon. And nobody's a fan of Shane McMahon anymore, so that's a moot point. And they dragged poor Elias into this thing. They gave him the 24/7 championship tonight just to show you how much of a fucking waste he is. Elias is a waste. We don't give a shit about him. We'll just give him the championship, this 24/7 meaningless piece of trash. That'll be his first ever championship in the WWE. All for R-Truth to take it back at the end of the night and make him look like a double asshole twice in one night. Isn't that special? Carmella and the fucking 24/7 champion running around backstage. Truth is talking to somebody in the back. I forget who says, oh, people have been chasing him everywhere since he's won the title, even at the dentist's office. The Truth hears somebody coming up behind him, and he runs away with Carmella on his back. Then you see Drake Maverick and the whole fucking cluster of them just following him all over in the back. I really don't care. This is one of the worst aspects of this championship, is that it's just, like I said last night, it's a Benny Hill skit over and over and over again, just not being played in fast forward and with our cool little bam 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 music in the back. We go back to the ring, and out come the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Daniel Bryan and Recyclable Rowan. They introduce them, and then we go to commercial. Lots of commercials across both of these shows over the last two nights. A little bit more so than I feel like we usually see, but that could just be the fact that I was bored to tears for most of last night. Tonight was not so bad, but we come back from the break, and they are talking to Bryan and Rowan in the ring. They've requested this time, and they want to ask what they want the WWE Universe to know about Memorial Day. But before we do this, Eric Rowan has the world's corniest knock-knock joke on tap. He wants to tell a joke. Knock-knock. I was waiting for you to say who's there. Knock-knock. Who's there? The SmackDown Tag Team Division. SmackDown Tag Team Division who? Exactly. Tee. That's the best you got. You're giving this near 7-foot-tall, monstrous-looking guy knock-knock jokes. That being said, Daniel Bryan then took control of the segment and made it very, very amusing for all the right reasons. Daniel Bryan taking his man of the planet stance and throwing it in everybody's face about how we all pretty much celebrate Memorial Day. Here in the United States, we celebrate Memorial Day. If you're not from here, maybe you're not familiar with it. And here's what we do. We get together, we drink beer, and we barbecue meats and eat cheeses and salads and all kinds of good stuff. So Daniel Bryan wanted to remind us all that what we do is we get together and we eat Wiggles. We eat Wiggles, the intelligent pig, and we eat Wilbur, a nurturing cow. And I want to tell Daniel Bryan that, yes, bro, you are right. I did consume both of these particular insanely cutely named animals. And just because you put a name on something that comes in a package and doesn't look anything like an animal doesn't mean I'm not going to eat it. I can guarantee you I will never kill a live pig or a cow or do anything if it's standing there in my face, because I am not a sadistic freak. But I will enjoy myself a delicious, juicy hamburger on an American holiday known as Memorial Day. I'm going to take it right off the grill. It's going to be covered in cheese, and I'm going to bite right into it, and the blood and the juice and all the shit's going to drip down my fucking chin, and I'm going to wash it down with a delicious Stella Artois. Okay? That's Memorial Day. So I'm sorry you wanted to name the animals that we all just... Some of us probably ate leftovers for dinner tonight, and you had them all probably while Daniel Bryan was saying this stuff. And you looked at your burger like, oh. And then you went, hum, and continued to fucking chomp down on poor little Wilbur the cow. That's, come on. It's fucking great. His whole delivery of it, the way he truly believes it. You can see it, how the guy just truly feels this gimmick because he lives it. It's not an act. It's really how he feels. And he's telling it to us. And in reality, we shouldn't be laughing because he's not really playing this for humor. He's trying to bring awareness and trying to turn us all vegan. Which was never gonna happen, especially when you're in a place like fucking Oklahoma. Oklahoma should just be a giant fucking barbecue. It should be shaped like a barbecue on the map. Steaks and ribs, all covered in all kinds of fucking sauces. Delicious. I'm getting hungry now. Damn you, Daniel Bryan. Talking about getting hungry and eating meats, steaks and weights. Heavy machinery. Eating steaks and lifting weights. Tucker and Otis come on out because they want a shot at the tag team championships. And this was amusing. Just watching these four in the ring, staring each other down, was hysterical. Daniel Bryan's look on his face, the look of disgust on his face as he was watching Otis wiggle his fucking jello legs and his big old belly full of fluff. I don't know what the hell that move he was doing. I don't even think I could do it. He was like just jiggling and wiggling and like he was in one of those little vibrating machines. You know those machines that got the belt that goes around your back and they use them in the 50s and your body like that? This guy's standing there just with an invisible fucking weight machine. And Daniel Bryan just like, ugh. Looking at it like he was a fucking 20-ounce steak. Daniel Bryan would never enjoy such a thing. I got a kick out of this whole segment. And what I didn't want is for Heavy Machinery to just have this match here and now tonight. You know I'm going to say stuff like, oh, they did nothing to earn this opportunity. They did nothing to really show anybody or prove to us that they are deserving of this opportunity. But when you take into consideration the tag team division as a whole on SmackDown Live, who the fuck else even is there? So you gotta take what you're given, and right now, it may be accidentally on purpose, but this feud of these two teams could be something great coming at us. We have to just step back and let it happen, and hopefully they don't ruin it. I'm positive that they will ruin it. I'm not saying that Heavy Machinery should beat Daniel Bryan and Rowan for the championships just yet, but I think this would be a great foundation to start to rebuild the division upon, starting with these two teams. Because their chemistry and their microphone skills between everybody involved, well, not so much for Rowan, but you get the picture. The whole deal is going to be very good, and it's going to be a very hard-hitting match. Steaks and weights versus the planet's champions. The guy that hates people that eat meat versus the guy that probably eats more meat than anybody that you know. And on that note, I don't know which jerk-off on the commentary team said it. I think it might have been Tom Phillips. It says, Heavy Machinery is the largest tag team ever assembled in WWE history. And to that I call major bullshit. What the fuck were Andre the Giant and King Kong Bundy when they were part of the Heenan family? They don't count as a tag team? What about the natural disasters? Earthquake and Typhoon, you don't think they were bigger than Otis and Tucker? You don't think the Big Boss Man and Akeem were bigger than them? You don't think that Big John Studd and Bundy were bigger than them? How many more different can we talk about? Who can you guys add to the list? Leave it in the comments section down below. What are some of the biggest tag teams that you could ever remember existing? Are these guys the biggest tag team ever assembled in WWE history? Absolutely not. That's just WWE hyperbole if I've ever heard it. Just like all their first time evers and all this other shit they want to say that just completely is not true. And I just had to call them out on this. So anyway, we got off on a little bit of a rant there on these guys, even though we somewhat like them. But that's what we do here. We keep it honest. That's why you guys keep coming back to me. And the fact is, Daniel Bryan laughed off the possibility of these guys challenging them. A referee even came down to ringside and got in the ring as if this match was going to start. And Daniel Bryan says, we will defend these tag team championships against you, but not here in this fracking state of Oklahoma, which was great. He used the term fracking in a negatory term, replacing it obviously for the word we use a lot on this show, which is the F-bomb, which I don't know if I dropped here tonight on this show tonight, but there were plenty of them lighting the show up last night, I'll tell you that much. If you missed the Raw review, you don't know what you're missing. You gotta go check it out right now. So this whole segment comes to an end. We don't have a match, and we don't know when we're going to have this match, but it is going to inevitably happen in the future. Bayley is backstage warming up for her match with Lacey Evans. We go further backstage to see Sonya Deville, who has copies of a magazine, Hers, Muscle, and Fitness, which the cover girl this month is apparently Mandy Rose. And congratulations, you got a great fucking body. It's all muscular and it's all fit. So of course you'd be on the cover of Muscle and Fitness. I'd rather you be on the cover of I Just Learned How to Wrestle Today. I don't know if that's a real magazine, but maybe that should be. Or how about the Most Improved of the Month magazine? Be the cover girl for that. This way we, can see you improving at a faster rate. Mandy Rose is nowhere near the piece of garbage she was in the ring a year ago. But she still is just another blonde doing the same shit that the WWE does with all its female characters. And while I did somewhat enjoy the old school feel of her going backstage and giving out magazines and getting in the face of Ember Moon, like, oh, where's your magazine, wolf face? I don't know why I just said that, but, it was kind of retro, so I was like, okay, I was a little bit more accepting of it, but Mandy Rose being the topic, it may be great for you. You maybe got a hard-on for the Golden Goddess. I do not. But I did enjoy it to a point. I didn't so much enjoy the matchup. It was probably given the right amount of time. Some people might say this match was too short. I say if this match went any longer, it would have definitely gone off the rails. It wasn't a bad match. This was a decent outing for Carmella. This was a decent outing for Mandy Rose. But in the end, it doesn't mean anything. And this is the first of 2 singles matches in the women's division on this night, which will end in the same exact way, as this match would end up with Sonya Deville distracting Carmella from the outside, which leads to Mandy Rose pinning Carmella in a roll-up. A very weird-looking roll-up, but she had the weight advantage and she got the pinfall. And that would happen again on this night. And we will get back to that when we talk about the other women's match here on SmackDown Live. The camera goes backstage and we see Jinder Mahal attacking R-Truth. There's a referee trying to make a count. All the other superstars start showing up. We see Matt Hardy. We see Drake Maverick. I'm pretty sure I saw EC3 or Noam Dar. Somebody from 205 Live was in there. Nobody that I need to be seeing running around a fucking arena chasing a piece of trash green belt. R-Truth would hide in a photo booth. Everybody ran by it like a bunch of fucking clowns. As if nobody thought, oh look, here's a place where somebody could easily hide. Whose feet are those in the photo booth? You didn't see his fucking feet? You're all so stupid you don't even deserve to have this stupid championship. And R-Truth comes out when they all run away and he bumps into Drake fucking Maverick. He's got a bunch of fucking wanted signs flying all over the place. What the hell show is Drake Maverick even on? What happened to the AOP? Are they not with Drake Maverick anymore? What is going on? Why am I watching this? Then we go out to the ring, and out comes Stain McStuntman, Elias, and Drew McIntyre for appreciation that. Gag me. Before we do this, we come back from the commercial and we get a promo from Aleister Black. And while this was one of his better written promos, his delivery on this promo was somewhat cringy. It felt very forced, like he was trying too hard to be weird, when all he has to do is kind of speak. Aleister Black comes out and he says he gets it. People are waiting for him to pick a fight with somebody. But what he wants is for anybody, somebody, to pick a fight with him. With me, he says. Great. Will you start fighting again, please? Because these dark hallway promos have not been very overwhelming. They've been underwhelming, if anything. And this one doesn't really got the range in there. And while I enjoy me some Aleister Black, I don't so much enjoy this. And the fact that we have to see so little of Aleister Black, and then we have to see so much of Stain McStuntman. The ring is covered with a red carpet for Appreciation Night. Shane gets his best in the world introduction. They got the World Cup on the outside. Elias is dressed up like a fucking discount Jeff Jarrett. And Drew McIntyre, the guy that's just a body now. You called Dustin Thomas half a body guy. This guy is just body guy. Here's Drew McIntyre, body guy. Hey Vince, we got a segment tonight. We're missing one guy. Well, get Drew McIntyre. He's a body. Should have threw up the Vince screen there for that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, oh, what's a Vince screen? What? A Vince screen? What's that? You don't know what that is? Go watch the Raw review and you'll find out. Some of you guys, you already know, obviously, and you're laughing because you know what I'm talking about. Let's get this fucking segment over. I don't even want to talk about it. Shane's just going out there boring everybody to fucking tears, talking about just nothing. Talking about how he doesn't see himself as a hero, and it's just a bunch of fucking nonsense. Bunch of fucking nonsense. And he wants to leave everybody with a smile on their face. You want everybody to leave with a smile on their face? Then fucking quit. Or just go back to the office and stop coming out on the fucking camera. Then we'll all be smiling because there'll be more time for wrestling. Shane McMahon calls a video up on the fucking Titantron, showing all these highlights from his career. His stunt reel. Diving off the top of fucking sets. Flying off the top of cages. Going through tables. Coast to coast. We've seen Shane McMahon from his 20s. Shane McMahon in his 40s. Shane McMahon today. Shane McMahon yesterday. Shane McMahon fucking everywhere. Fuck Shane McMahon. All he does is kill these shows. Grinding halt. All now to further this sudden feud with Roman Reigns because he hit his daddy. Oh, you hit my daddy. Brr. Why would Shane McMahon, the Shane McMahon that we saw come back, why would he give a shit? Oh, my dad got punched in the face. He's been getting punched in the face since he was 50 years old. Probably earlier than that. You know how many people fucking punch Vince McMahon in the face? Way more than just Bret the Hitman Hart and Roman Reigns. Fucking ridiculous. All to build this ridiculous match at Super Showdown that nobody wants to see. We had to see Lance Reigns last night, and tonight Roman Reigns is there, but they couldn't get Lance to come because they weren't having an Usos family fucking barbecue. So they say, you know what? We'll take the useless 24/7 title, we'll put it next to Roman, that'll make people care. Click. Once again, like we already touched upon, the 24/7 championship comes traipsing out in the middle of this thing, and the only thing good about that is that it stopped Shane McMahon from fucking talking. And it brought this segment to an end and turned it into a circus sideshow called the 24/7 title. Elias would take advantage of a Claymore kick delivered by Drew McIntyre square to the face of R-Truth. Again, why didn't Drew McIntyre take the pin? The best in the world, Shane McMahon standing there. Why not add that to your list of fucking useless accolades for a non-wrestler? Because it's meaningless. Shane didn't want it. Drew didn't want it. Roman didn't want it. I'm sure Elias didn't want it either, but somebody had to take the pin. And now Elias, like I said, gets his first WWE Championship, and it's worth about as much as a WWE replica title belt that you could have bought at Toys R Us if it was still around. Kayla Braxton is backstage with Lacey Evans, who's come over tonight thanks to the wild card rule. And I'm still sitting here asking why. If Becky Lynch is her main feud, and Becky Lynch is the champion of Monday Night Raw, why is Lacey Evans on SmackDown Live fighting with Bayley? Answers, anybody? Charlotte Flair should be the one in this feud with Bayley. Lacey Evans should no longer have anything to do with anything on SmackDown Live. If Becky Lynch is not there, Lacey Evans should not be there, and never should the two meet. All for her to come and sit in Becky's spot, having tea time with Charlotte. It's tea time. Let's see how quickly we can bore everybody to fucking tears. The Queen and the Lady. Did they put this together just so they can say that? Oh, look everybody, it's the Queen and the Lady, and they're having a spot of tea. Oh, isn't it lovely? Lovely. Where is the man? Get her in here so we can beat her ass. Ridiculous. Bayley versus Lacey Evans was not a bad match, because Bayley is a good wrestler. Lacey Evans is coming along. The more we get to see her in the ring, the more I'm actually starting to enjoy her as a talent. She does need to get better on the mic. I'm not crucifying the girl. She's as green as fucking grass. She was called up too soon, and eventually, if you're good enough, you're going to see how things are done, and you're going to come along, and you're going to start getting the hang of it. And tonight was a little bit of a big, you can't say a little bit of a big step. That would be fucking stupid. But tonight was a little step in the right direction for Lacey Evans to become a big player in the women's division. You see how I made that work for myself there? Because that's what we do. All right? We make things work. It wasn't the best match in the world. We're not saying 3 stars, 4 stars. We're not Meltzer scaling anything. We're just saying this was fine. This was fine. But, like I said, the finish of this match was the same as the finish of the singles match for the women prior. As Charlotte Flair was out on commentary, she would find a way to stick her beak in where it doesn't belong. She would cause a distraction, only in the opposite fashion, where she would make the person she's trying to help become the victim, as opposed to what we saw earlier in the evening. And Lacey Evans would lose to Bayley for another non-title matchup on this show. The champion gets the win, not thanks to her own credit and her own merit, but thanks to the fact that Charlotte Flair got involved. And still, that's not the story. The story here for me is after the match, Bayley takes off with the title. Charlotte Flair hits the ring. Flair's talking shit while Bayley's up at the top of the ramp like, yeah, I'm the fucking winner. And then Lacey Evans comes from behind and attacks Charlotte Flair. She starts beating her down, and then Charlotte Flair comes back, hits her with a big boot. Bayley's just watching everything happen from the outside. Charlotte Flair gets in Lacey Evans' face. Don't you dare touch me. She starts screaming, and then the referees start to break it up. Bayley's just laughing, and her music starts to play, and then we come to the end of the segment. And many people are probably assuming that maybe Lacey Evans turned, or maybe we've seen a turn from Charlotte Flair, and I'm telling everybody to calm down, because nobody turned nothing. All you seen tonight was one heel female getting frustrated over the fact that the other heel female got involved. If they turned Lacey Evans babyface at this point in her run, they would prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that they are the most ass-backwards bunch of monkeys to ever run a wrestling company ever. The girl is just getting started. She has just began to develop this character. Do we like her as the sassy Southern belle? No. Do I mind her as the lady? No, I don't. I think the lady was the way to go about it. She would have been the lady of the WWE, and she could be bringing class to the women's division. And if you show her in more matches, like we got tonight with Bayley, and start to make her look like a dominant force, I think people would get on board with Lacey Evans. She's far more attractive than Charlotte Flair. She's probably just as athletic. I don't want to say more so, because Charlotte is probably the finest of the bunch right now. But I'm alright. I just don't understand why it's happening on SmackDown and stuff like this isn't happening to Lacey Evans on her show with her champion, which is Monday Night Raw, and Becky Lynch. We get an announcement that The Undertaker is on his way to Monday Night Raw. And do you know why you shouldn't be excited? Because why is The Undertaker coming to Raw? Because 5 days after that, we will be treated to the world's worst pay-per-view that they have the balls to say is WrestleMania worthy. Or how did they word it? They say it's a rival to WrestleMania, or however the fuck they said it. That's just sinful to even say that, because this is one of the worst cards I've ever seen put together. And The Undertaker's just showing up on Monday to talk about Bill Goldberg in a match that's got nothing behind it, no reason for us to want to see it, and is going to probably end in a way that pisses everybody off no matter how they do it. We go from this unnecessary match from Super Showdown to promoting another one in Randy Orton versus Triple H. And we breached this topic last night, but for those of you who weren't with us last night, let me reiterate myself just to make myself perfectly clear. When the best thing on your show in 2019 is a throwback to footage from over 15 years ago, how do you not see the writing on the wall and the facts that your company is not doing things at its optimized level? You look at the fucking program that we had between Triple H and Randy Orton, which spanned years. The way it was started, the way it was crafted, how crazy Randy Orton went. He handcuffed Stephanie McMahon to the ring ropes and then kissed her on the lips in front of Triple H. Or he handcuffed Triple H, rather, I'm sorry, and forced him to watch as he kissed his unconscious wife in the middle of the ring. This is the same Randy Orton that we've seen RKOing everybody from old legends to current day superstars. The vicious, calculating viper. None of this stuff exists anymore. They don't write TV like this. They don't write shows like this. And it is a clear indication of the one thing you need to do to make things better again. And it's not go back to the Attitude Era. It's not do things like make men make out with other men's wives. It's telling stories. Getting fans firmly behind the good guy and firmly against a bad guy. And do you know why you're having trouble with that right now, WWE? Because you're taking the guys that we want to be the good guys and you're pushing them to the lower mid-card so you can take the guys we don't want to see at all, like a Baron Corbin and a Roman Reigns and a Bobby Lashley, and throwing them in the main event of every fucking show of every week of every year for the last 3. Somebody's got to lay down the truth, and nobody lays it down like the Hammer. Stop showing me shit that only makes me feel sad when it's over. I feel even more sad because it just reminds me of how great this show once was, how great this company once was, how great Vince McMahon once was. But how far we have all fallen, because we come to a promo for Andrade. And the only thing I'm going to say about this fucking awful promo by one of the best wrestlers on the roster is, what the fuck is the point of him having Zelina Vega as his manager and his mouthpiece if you are going to force him to look fucking ridiculous by struggling to speak English? If the man's English is not there, Why are you making him speak? Especially when he has somebody like the Mighty Minx down there ready to fucking strike verbally and put people in place. Every time Zelina Vega's opened her mouth in the last 2 weeks, she's been silenced. Just take that into account as well. Tonight, she didn't even get to say one fucking word. And did you have any idea what Andrade was saying? Because if you didn't, let me clear it up for you, because I can tell you what he's saying. He was telling Finn Balor that in his match, he's going to bring out Finn Balor's inner demon when he faces Andrade. And then we cut to black, and I'm waiting for Zelina Vega to be like, yeah, Finn Balor, this and that. The best part about that whole thing was the little heartfelt piece that they showed about Finn Balor when he talked about the injuries that he sustained at Money in the Bank and showing the clips of him being powerbombed through the ladder and then chokeslammed through the ladder and slammed into the ladder again and not being cleared to compete for this week, which is why he's not around. I appreciate little nuggets like that. It makes me think, oh, well, they didn't just forget about the Intercontinental Champion. Something maybe that should have been brought to our attention yesterday. You know where that's from. The main event of the evening, Roman Reigns and R-Truth versus Drew McIntyre and your new 24/7 champion, Elias. I didn't pay attention to anything that happened in this matchup. All I did was sit there for the last 15 minutes of the show waiting to hear Roman Reigns' music go off because that's exactly what the hell was going to happen. I didn't give a shit about The Miz being at ringside. I didn't give a shit about anything that happened during this matchup. Roman Reigns and R-Truth win. Elias is the one that gets the pin here. Elias then gets further embarrassed by having Roman Reigns attack him once again and serve him up like a turkey sandwich to R-Truth to devour and recapture his 24/7 championship. R-Truth is now the first two-time 24/7 champion. The 24/7 championship was featured in a main event of a main broadcast show. And if this is the doing of USA Network, then shame on you. And if this is the doing of that one lunatic bastard that we all know it probably did come from, then please, sir, go buy a box of cigars and a bottle of gin and go enjoy your money. Cancel the XFL. You're going to fail at that again. Just take your money and go fucking enjoy it. And let some other people take this beautiful, magical medium we call professional wrestling and allow it to thrive once again. Because when you're ending SmackDown Live with R-Truth pinning Elias for the 24/7 championship, thanks to the help of Roman Reigns, you're not going to have anybody coming back next week to watch for more. I was being made sick simply by the fans in Oklahoma. Now, but for the one fact that, for the most part of the night, they were pretty good. But the fact that you guys were so gung-ho and just so into this main event match, shame on yous as well. Because as fans, when you go to these things, if you're unfortunate enough to have to pay for it, that's on you. I mean, I don't know what the fuck you would pay money to go see one of these shows. But if, like me, with WrestleMania 35, you are gifted a ticket, or, you happen to know somebody that hey, I have an extra ticket, you want to come, Go to the show. Be prepared to be fucking bored out of your mind and show it. Don't cheer. Don't boo. Stand there. Or turn your back. Turn your back to the fucking ring. That would be the greatest thing to ever happen to wrestling. If the whole entire arena just turned their backs to the action in one giant state of defiance. I'm waiting for that day. It's another reason why we watch every week. We're waiting for the day the fans just can't take it anymore. Last night was almost that night. AEW chants. This is boring chants. We didn't have too much of that tonight. But this wasn't the greatest show. It definitely wasn't a good show. Especially once the poison of Shane McMahon hit the bloodstreams of SmackDown Live and gave it a heart attack for the whole last hour. That's it, everybody. Those are my thoughts and everything that I wanted to tell you guys about tonight's episode of SmackDown Live. Everything wrong with this fucking show and a few things that were alright. Thank you once again for being with me here again. Don't forget to let me know what you guys think. I love seeing those comments, and I'm going to reply to as many as I possibly can. So let me know what your thoughts are on tonight's episode, on my episode, on the episode of SmackDown Live, whatever it is you want to talk about. It's an open forum. Just be respectful or find yourself on the outside looking in. Don't forget to smash that thumbs up. If you enjoyed anything we said here today, or you agreed with anything we said, you can hit that thumbs up button right now and show the entire world that you are A-OK with Sledgehammer TV. Share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, especially if they're kind of unsure about how to feel about SmackDown Live, and allow me to show them the way, a way in which you are already familiar with. We put so much up in the last 7 days. We got WWE 2K simulations for Super Showdown. We got Goldberg and The Undertaker up there with the action called by me. Go check that out if you missed it. Monday Night Raw review last night was fucking awesome. Awesome. The review was awesome. Raw wasn't awesome. You already know that. But I had a lot of fun doing last night's review, and you guys should go have a lot of fun too by watching that one if you missed it. The Money in the Bank review is still going strong, almost at 8,000 views for the first time in history on this channel. We are making moves, and it's all thanks to each and every one of you. Don't forget, if you're into Game of Thrones and any other kind of entertainment, Sledgehammer TV is not just a wrestling channel. We got Game of Thrones reviews and reactions up on here. The Avengers Endgame movie review, and coming soon, we're going to be talking about Dark Phoenix. We're going to be talking about Spider-Man Far From Home. We're going to be talking about it all, and we got you guys covered all summer long. And the best way to make sure that you don't miss a fucking thing is to subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell so you do not miss anything, as we are going to be coming at you guys with more rapid fire stuff, and you don't want to miss it. So hit that bell and you will be sure to be notified every time something new pops up, and you won't miss a thing. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the team. Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, and the Wrestling God of Thunder. His tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue the Snowball. The most important member of the team, as always, is each and every one of you, my Sledgeheads, my loyal family. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for being with me on this journey, as we are heading into summer 2019 very soon, and will shortly be celebrating the beginning of the 4th year of Sledgehammer TV. That, my friends, is going to do it, and we are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. Boom! I don't know why I just did that.